News on Vanguard Live. I am Precious Chukudi. We begin with the front pages of the papers this morning, starting off with Vanguard. Vanguard is leading with off-cycle GUBER elections. DHQ, DSS, IGP reads riot actors Imo, Bayelsa, Kogi polls hold tomorrow. The rider says we'll deal with those planning to disguise in military gear to cause violence, and that's coming from DHQ. Sean inflammatory statement of face our wrath, and that's coming from DSS. IGP orders posting with deployment of 14 AIGs, 26 CPs. Southeast Monarch Bishop sue for peace. You can read that on page 5. And UBA Saudi Exim signed deal. And on page 11, we have labor strike, passenger stranded, flight cancelled. On page 9, MTF FSP, Senate recommends the sack of MDA heads, push on invitation. Bandits kill 11 in Sokoto communities raid. You can see that on page 6. Rep moves to reduce powers of CBN governor. Osime returns after international break, says Napoli boss. Stories above. On page 12, Rivers political crisis. Wike remains my Oga. And that's coming from Governor Fubara. Appeal court judgments. More protests rock up Plateau. You can see that on page 9. And lastly, on front page of Vanguard, we have ex-Labour leader Kokori struggling for life in Delta Hospital. Take a look at the Nation newspaper. The Nation is leading with Uzodima Kiyam, CSO's Labour protester partisan. Rider says, Osifo, we won't stop. Passengers stranded at Abuja Lagos Airport. Nigeria Saudi Arabia sign MOU on oil gas investments. Yoruba in diaspora to Tinubu eradicate poverty. Stories above. Nigeria's oil supply to Europe hit 730,000 BPD. Senate seeks sack of MDA bosses, ignoring someone's motion. Umai explains 21 billion naira vote for third Melan repairs. Wike remains my principal, Governor Fubara declares. And of course, Bayelsa Imo Kogi 2023, all set for election. Military warns miscreants to stay off. DSS caution against inflammatory statement. Hotel scarcity leaves INEC officials, security agents stranded. Take a look at the Guardian newspaper. The Guardian is leading with a renewed hope agenda. Big story, pages 4 and 5. Political class at profligates best as citizens languish. Passengers stranded as Labour Union pickets airports. Kiamo fumes. Rep summon FIRS, others move to check the powers of CBN governor. Election litigation over. Real governance should commence. NATI reveals Federation account received a 14.4 trillion naira in 2 years. Importers to pay more as a custom revises a rate to 783 naira to a dollar amid 70% decline. Decision day in Imo Bayelsa Kogi. INEC affirms readiness. DHQ uncovers a plot to cause mayhem. We'll take a look at the Punch newspaper. The Punch is leading with off-season polls. Federal government tackles labor over strike. Union disrupts Imo flights. The rider says that don't allow Labour Party destroy NLC, TUC. Minister condemns the airport picketing. INEC insists on polls. Union stop Owerri flight blocks Abuja airport. United Nigeria Airline Air Peace passengers stranded. Nigeria shot by Togolese soldiers seek Tinubu's help. Fashoranti Adebanjo Afenifere faction clash over Supreme Court verdict. Stories above. We have a budget hearing. Senate demands a sacking of MDA's head. Crude exports to Europe rise. Federal government boosts the local supply. And lastly, on the front page of the Punch newspaper, we have a border closure. Businesses collapse in northern communities. Smuggling booms. And that's how we can take on the front pages of the papers. Join us after the break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. If you're just joining, still today in the news on Vanguard Live, I am Precious Chukudi. Joining me to talk about the happenings in Imo State and give us an overview of what the labor strike is our correspondent, Chinoso Alozie. Good morning. It's good to have you join me on the show.
Hello?
Good morning. It's good to have you join me on the show.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning.
All right, can you tell us about the protest from NLC yesterday that resulted to passengers being stranded and the airport being shut down.
Yes, from yesterday, the airport in Imo was shut down. And what we saw yesterday, so many people coming into Imo State were forced to take another route through Port Harcourt Airport. Direction they feel that they can make it into Imo State. So that was the situation we saw yesterday in Imo. Okay, so that was the situation we saw in Imo. So there was a lot of tension, political tension here and there, because a lot of people who were not earlier informed about the NSC immediate order for shutting down the airport did not know what was going on, so that they were so surprised when they were told to go back, and some of them now took through the Port Harcourt Airport to make their way to Imo State. So that was what happened yesterday as a result of the NLC face off with the Imo State government.
Do you think that there could have been a better way for organized labor to express their grievances?
Well, for some stakeholders in Imo, just like yesterday, the Imo State Council of Elders, as well as the President General of Ohanes and Igbo, pleaded with the NLC to reconsider their decision, that their decision was increasing the hardship the people are already facing in Imo State. Then also the Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, the Southern Youth Wing, was yesterday also called the NLC to please call off the strike and move to negotiating table with the government. So some other stakeholders are also pleading that if NLC could also see how they reduce the pressure, the economic pressure, the political pressure, and other areas that the shutting down of the airport has cost the Imo people. So people were pleading, even as of this morning, they are still calling or begging on NSC to see what they could do to reduce the hardship this strike is causing Imo people.
All right, can you tell us about the power outage in Imo State caused by this industrial action?
Yes, from November, 1st of November, the blackout started in Imo. And as I can talk as we talk now, it's over a week now, Imo people have been without light. And the situation is so severe in Imo because most of the economic activities in Imo depend on light. So people are crying. As a result of the blackout, the transportation fare in Imo has increased. Like, for instance, from Wedra Road to Control Post, before now, it's like 150, 200. But as I speak with you, it's between 300, 350. If you are going from Douglas to Owerri, Port Harcourt Road, they collect like 400 naira. If you are going to Owerri to Abaros, so the transportation fare is increasing every day as a result of this NSC strike in Imo. So that's what we have been seeing, and that's what we have been facing. The difficulties we have been facing in Imo are caused by this NSC strike.
All right, in your own view, do you think that the situation right now on ground with organized labor would influence tomorrow's election?
However, what's happening in Imo now is, as a result of the NSC strike, the people have been let me use the word so many people now use, that we have been impoverished. I know what it means. The election is all about the feelings and sentiments of the people. As it is now, they are not happy. Some said that the government would have allowed the NSC president to just come and do the strike and go. Some said that NSC president should have obeyed the court's order, especially from the government. They are insisting that the NSC president should have obeyed the order of the court stopping that strike. So this is likely to affect the election because the people, as I'm talking to you, are not happy. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Chinonso Alozie, for that detailed report.
Thank you so much.
All right, moving on now, we'll take our next story. Our next story is DHQ, DSS, IGP reads the Riot Act as Bayelsa, Imo, Kogi polls hold tomorrow. And to ensure peaceful conduct of tomorrow's governorship election in Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi states, the Defense Headquarters Department of State Services, DSS, and the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, yesterday read the Riot Act to troublemakers, warning them of dire consequences if they dared foment trouble during the polls. On a day, IGP Egbetokun posted and redeployed 14 Assistant Inspector General of Police (AIGs) and 26 Commissioners of Police (CPs) with immediate effect. The Defense Headquarters said the military is aware of plans by some persons working for some candidates to disguise in military gear to disrupt the polls. Also, the DSS warned individuals and groups against making incendiary statements ahead of the polls, saying resort to violent language could upset conduct of peaceful and orderly election in the three states. The security agency's warning came as Southeast traditional rulers and religious leaders sued for peace. The Defense Headquarters warned persons or groups planning to disguise themselves as military personnel during the polls that there will be injurious consequences for such actions, as the military will not allow its image to be destroyed. Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, gave the warning while briefing on military operations to counter threats of terrorists, bandits, kidnappers, oil theft perpetrators, and other forms of insecurity across the country. He said, and I quote, "For the off-season election in Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi State taking place this weekend, here is a message for you. The military is deployed in strength for the election to emplace a safe environment for voters to peacefully come out and cast their vote. However, we are aware of plans of some to disguise themselves in military gear to orchestrate havoc and disrupt elections in some areas. Our message to such a group is that there will be injurious consequences for such an action. The military will not fold its arms and watch its image dragged to the mud." Moving on to our next story, Rivers political crisis, Wike remains my Oga, and that's coming from Governor Fubara. Governor Simi Alayi Fubara of Rivers State yesterday said his predecessor, who is the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory (FCT), Nyesom Wike, remains his Oga, that's boss. Governor Fubara said this in Port Harcourt, Rivers State capital, when they both met for the first time in the state since the political crisis. The event was the rededication service of the 2023-2024 legal year of the Rivers State Judiciary at the St. Cyprian Anglican Church Hospital Road. At the start of his speech, Fubara jokingly asked the congregants to suspend the recognition of guests in order not to commit another impeachable offense. On the field with Wike, Fubara said, "My Oga, boss, remains my Oga. Whatever that has happened is in the past. I have not sent anybody to malign anybody." He described the political crisis as a thing of the past, adding that although it has been a trying time for the state, the misunderstanding would pass. He promised his administration would deliver for the people. Wike arrived towards the end of the church service. He had a handshake with Fubara, his successor, before sitting on the same row with him. Fubara said it was important for the people to embrace peace so that the planned development of the state could be achieved. He said, "We have a mission to give you development. We also know that the devil will always come in, one way or the other. But the important thing is for us to identify it and push the devil out of our road so we can continue." So I want to thank you for your support and also say that we need peace. Everybody should just relax and realize that we need peace for us to progress in the state, which is only possible in the atmosphere of tranquility. He said the whole political brouhaha was in the past, adding that he had never sponsored anybody to malign anyone. It will be recalled that a political crisis ensued when the state lawmaker attempted to impeach Governor Fubara. The House of Assembly was touched, and as the issue degenerated into chaos, security agents allegedly shot at the governor. Seeming calm has returned to the state as President Bola Tinubu then stepped in. All right, let's take a look at Mr. and Mrs. before we go. And of course, trust them to always give us what is happening. Mrs. seems to be speaking this morning. Says, you didn't shed a tear when my mother died. People were looking at you like a wicked person. And Mr. replies and says, I cried when your father died. I cried when your uncle died. I cried when your grandmother and grandfather died. I've run out of tears. The harsh economy has taken its toll on everything. I feel so bad for Mr. And that's how most Nigerians feel right now. The economy has taken, the harsh economy has taken a toll on everything. Remember to equally like, share, and subscribe on all our social media platforms showing on your screen. To find out these stories, go to our website www.vanguardngl.com to find out more. I am Precious Chukudi, and thank you for watching.